You are now listening to Nyeckro high sodium content.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Ho. What's going on, good folks? Welcome to another edition of the podcast, High Sodium Content. So high, so salty. And on tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about gaslighting.
What are you talking about?
Gaslighting in real time. What is gaslighting? Well, gaslighting is a form of manipulation. Basically, making the other person believe something that's not true.
The skeptic was a totally non-believer.
At all. But we're going to be looking at gaslighting in real time. And who's none other than the starter of the proverbial gas? Our good Greek friend, George Stephanopulos. And his interview, or his short interview with Representative Byron Donalds. And if you don't know who Byron Donalds is, he was elected to the Florida U.S. House of Representatives in 2020, I believe. You can check me. Just a regular, hardworking, decent brother. Very intelligent. And just look at how he handles himself against the gaslighting. Let's roll that footage.
Just bring in Republican Congressman and Trump ally Byron Donalds. Congressman, thank you for joining us this morning. Why is former President Trump questioning the vice president's racial identity?
Well, first, George, in Chicago, he was responding to a question from, I believe, Rachel Scott. Like, this is really a phony controversy. I don't really care. Most people don't. But if we're going to be...
He's right. Most people don't. I certainly don't. I don't go for identity politics anymore after Obama. Yeah, I see how he didn't do for his people in the way that we thought he would, So yeah, that's the last time I ever did that. And then you see how a lot of these old black Democrats, how they act and how they treat us. When we ask for things. Especially Jim Clyburn, anytime on the topic of reparations, I mean, he's just nasty, very, very nasty to his constituents. But they keep voting them in. So I don't participate in that anymore. Yeah, since like 2008. And you just see the damage, done behind it. But I mean, I know I really don't care about. I don't care what color the woman is. What are her policies? What does she stand on? I know she's talking about the border crisis and what she's gonna do to fix the economy day one. But just bear with me, y'all. If you put on your thinking cap for a second, isn't she the second in command? She's the vice president. And she hasn't done anything in these 4 years to fix anything. So what makes you think that if you elect her, that anything is going to change? That's crazy. That's the definition of insanity. You constantly do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. That's insanity. It makes absolutely no sense. And they keep saying that she's a black woman. Y'all know Jamaica is a country, right? And not an ethnicity. I hope some of y'all realize this. It's a nationality. You know, you could be Chinese and Jamaican. You could be Indian and Jamaican, which happens to be her father. And he said this. He said he is of Hindu and Irish descent. There's no African in there. And her mother is full Indian. So, I mean, if we're gonna put the nail in the coffin, this is not a black woman. She's cosplaying at this point. You know, like somebody trying to be Deadpool at Comic-Con. It's cosplay. It's pretend. But let's just put that to bed now. I could care less about that. I just know that she doesn't have any policies at all. No solutions to the problems that her and Biden's administration caused. So, I mean, the whole racial identity thing, this is just a smokescreen, people. Please stay focused.
Accurate. When Kamala Harris went into the United States Senate, it was AP that said she was the first Indian American United States senator. It was actually played up a lot when she came into the Senate. Now she's running nationally. Obviously, the campaign has shifted. They're talking much more about her father's heritage and her black identity. It doesn't really matter. The president mentioned it. What he also talks about far more frequently is the fact that Kamala Harris is the person who created this massive inflation, which is destroying black families, white families, Hispanic families. It's her failure as border czar that has left our southern border.
It's destroying everybody. Everybody is struggling under this economy. And some of y'all just want to vote for this woman just because you think. And you're being duped into believing that this is a black woman. Just because she went to HBCU doesn't make her black. White people go to HBCUs. Asians go to HBCUs.
Let him cook.
That don't mean nothing.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
That don't mean nothing. And again, look at the tropes, the stereotypical tropes that she's putting out in her campaign. She had Megan Thee Stallion twerking. She had Megan Thee Stallion shaking her ass to get y'all to vote.
Brother,
How disrespectful is that? Do you see any prominent Asian star coming out shaking their behind? Do you see them do anything like that? Just all jokes aside, do you see the Democratic Party do that to anybody else, any other group, anybody else? They think we're fools. They think we're stupid. They think we're a monolith. And I'm glad a lot of us are waking up. It is so refreshing to see some of my people just wake up. And I wish the same to the rest of y'all. It's time to wake up. This is not the answer. This is not the answer for Black America. This is not the answer for the entire America. All of the US. This is not it. These are the same people that cause these problems. She's not going to fix anything. She's going to make it worse. You know, and I'm not a raving lunatic. I'm not like, oh. But I mean, just think logically, just for a second. Do you really want to keep spending? I've seen people crying on TikTok. Crying. Single mothers. You know, the so-called, women that you people care about. Struggling. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, all struggling under this administration. The only thing she does well is cackle and ham it up. That's all. Like I said in the other video, she can't manage a gate. She can't manage a gate, a border. It's one of those things where like you have everything pre-made and ready for you. You don't have to touch anything. You just have to press start and let it do its thing. But no, I don't know if it was out of hubris, out of ego, but they just took everything that Trump instituted and just undid it. And look at the result. Look at the result. The country is in shambles. It's in shambles. I'm 39. In my entire lifetime, I have never seen politics play out like this, and the country just so polarized and divided, and people struggling. I've never seen this in my entire life. I've never seen it. And this is just astonishing to me, bewildering. I don't get it. I really, really, really don't. Let's continue.
Border wide open, more than 10 million illegal immigrants coming into our country, record fentanyl coming into our country, which has killed more Americans than at any other point in the history of our country with respect specifically to fentanyl. And the fact that she and Joe Biden have unleashed one of the worst foreign policies in the history of our country that has us on the verge of World War III. That is Kamala Harris's record. President Trump talks about that frequently, but yes, he did mention it in Chicago in response to a question from Rachel Scott.
And you just repeated the slur again. If it doesn't matter, why do you all keep questioning her identity? She's always...
What slur did he say? What slur did he say? And just so we're clear what a slur is, right? A slur is a derogatory or insulting term used to demean or belittle a person or group, often based on characteristics such as race, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexual orientation, disability, or other identity markers. Slurs are offensive. Slurs are offensive because they reinforce harmful stereotypes, express hatred or contempt, and can contribute to the marginalization of the targeted group. The use of slurs can perpetuate discrimination and social inequality. What slur? What slur? What did he say? What derogatory term, insulting stereotype, what did he say? I'm confused because we're watching the same thing, right? This is not edited. This isn't edited. And this is a supposed to be a reputable news network.
Tell me, you didn't just say that.
And many of us in my generation know that these news outlets are bullshit. They're bullshit. They literally spread propaganda on both sides of the spectrum. Gone are the days of like, I don't know, Walter Cronkite, where like journalism was unbiased. It was the raw muck and mire truth. And all we get is just gaslighting in real time.
What?
Listen, this is how disrespectful like these news outlets are, because they're harping on the fact that like people are stupid. They really are. They really do think a vast majority of Americans are stupid. Because I'm pretty sure there's people out there that really believe that somehow, some way, this man said a racial slur. I said any kind of slur. But let's continue.
always identified as a black woman. She is biracial. She has a Jamaican father and Indian mother. She's always identified.
See, you see the word salad? You see the word salad, right? You know, it's all tossed up all nice, you know, a little garlic and olive oil. But again, once again, this isn't made up or fictional. Kamala Harris's father firmly said it. Hindu and Irish descent. I'm of Hindu and Irish descent. His family owned slaves in Jamaica. That's not a black woman. That's an Indian woman. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But once again, the Democratic Party plays with black folk. They play with us. They thinking it's going to be Obama 2.0 and let's play identity politics and get y'all to come out there. Get your booty to the polls. Y'all remember that? Get your booty to the polls. And it was strippers. That's what they think of us. Stupid, over-sexualized, singing and dancing, only care about hip-hop. All the stereotypes that could ever be thought of. It's what they do. They do it all the time. They do it in front of you. And some of y'all still, y'all be 50, 60, 70 years old. Oh, you 70-year-olds or something else.
What?
And so die hard for this party. And they disrespect you. Older black men in the class. You know they disrespect us, right? Y'all know that? Do you like being emasculated? I certainly don't. I don't stand for it. And when, you know, maybe one day when they change their ways and they start giving black folks some tangibles, some actual resources like they do other groups, maybe I'll consider voting for a Democrat again. But no, this is no, never again. Never again. Never again. You are not going to disrespect me and expect to get anything from me. There's some things in life that men can tolerate, but a real man never tolerates disrespect from anything. Nothing. And I live my life based on that single principle. I never let myself be disrespected. No, not ever. And definitely from the Democrats, never again. Nope.
As both. Why are you questioning that?
What?
Well, George, first of all, this is something that's actually a conversation throughout social media right now. There were a lot of people who are trying to figure this out. But again, that's a side issue, not the main issue. The main issue.
Sir, 1 second. You just did it. You just did it again.
Of the United States.
Why do you insist on questioning her racial identity?
This is bugging me out. This is bugging me out. He just said it's a side issue and like nobody really cares about it. But I mean, he's really trying to hammer this down. And look at how hostile he's getting. Are you always like that around black folks, George? Huh? Bet she got that one black friend, huh? Yeah. I know you, George. All too well. All too well.
Talk.
I want you to answer my question.
Yelling at George, now that you're done yelling at me, let me answer. He talked about it on the stage yesterday in Atlanta for what, 2 minutes? He spent more than 35, 40 minutes going after her record, talking about how radical of a senator that she was. She was the most liberal senator in the United States, in the United States Senate. That is a fact. He talked about the job that she did as vice president of the United States, a job, I will add, which has been a failure for the American people. I know you guys like to glom on to this that he talks about in jest or in a serious manner for about a minute or so, but what you do not cover is the litany of failures of Kamala Harris.
And they don't. And they won't do it because they're bought out and paid for. Like, truly, these are propaganda mills. This is why, like, maybe you guys have seen it, but there was like a compilation of all of these news networks just all together, side by side, all over the country, right? And they all said the exact same thing. It's all a script, written scripts every day. These aren't journalists, these are actors. Real journalism exists, but it's far and few in between. Just once, it would be nice and refreshing just to get some unbiased, like, there's no agenda to it, just regular old-fashioned news. Just tell me what's going on without your opinion, without your spin on it. But they can't do that anymore. Everything is a money grab. Everything. And it's disgusting. Because I can even remember, like, maybe like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, probably longer than that, probably like 20 years ago. But like, it wasn't so biased. Like, it wasn't a motivation to be biased. And now it's just completely saturated, and this just shows, man. This is the strangest, weirdest interview I've ever seen in my entire life, where somebody is literally just calm and composed, and you have this guy just lying on national TV. He's just lying. He's sitting there lying. I can't believe this. I can't fathom this.
That's what you're not covering, George.
So questioning somebody's racial identity for a couple minutes is okay?
George, I'm going to tell you again, he brought it up. AP is the one that wrote the headline when she first came in to the United States Senate. Didn't talk about her being black, talked about her being the first Indian American senator. AP brought that up. I mean, George, we could have this conversation for the entire segment, but none of this matters to the American people.
It doesn't.
What matters to the
It does not matter. None of this matters. This is the silliest thing. They play with y'all in front of you. They dangle dumb shit in front of people, and y'all eat it up. No. Y'all eat it up. It's delicious to some of you people. Delicious, scrumptious. But it's not important. The most important things are, how are we going to get this economy down? Gas is too high. Rent is too high. Food is too high. People can't go on vacations. People are afraid to spend money. The economy's stagnant. Crypto's going down. The stock market took a massive hit last week. Come on now. You have the BRICS nations trying to form their own currency to get rid of the dollar. And y'all talking about this woman's, if this woman is a black woman or not?
Stop it. Get some help.
Come on now. Come on now. And some of y'all old as I don't know what, regurgitating that same talking point about this woman's ethnicity. Nobody cares. Her policies suck. Next question.
American people is, are we going to have the same policies of the Biden-Harris administration that has been destructive of the American people, or are we going to have the policies of the Trump administration, which put America first, had low inflation, prosperous Americans, no matter your race, no matter your color, no matter your creed, and a foreign policy that kept America safe? Those are the facts that truly matter, because this issue is going to come and go. The lives of the American people is what's going to remain, and that's what matters more than anything else.
If it doesn't matter, I don't understand why you keep on repeating it, why the president keeps on repeating it, why those introducing the president yesterday.
George, actually,
That's y'all watching the same thing I'm watching, right? Y'all watching the same thing I'm watching. Wow. I hope and pray that I see a day where lying, flat out blatant lying, becomes a crime. People lie too much, man. I know some people that lie so damn much. They lie about what they have for breakfast. They lie too much. People out here lying too goddamn much. Listen, if you don't got it, you don't got it. Stop lying about it. Stop lying. Stop lying out here, man. People tired of that. People real sick and tired of the lying and the gaslighting.
I'm not the one who keeps repeating it. George, you're the one that's bringing it up now. That's
You've done it.
I understand why
sir,
you've done it up.
You've done it 3 times. Every single answer
George,
you gave me. Now let me finish, sir.
George,
every single answer you gave, you repeated the slur.
Asked me, George. That's why I'm pushing back on you now. George, you
right,
asked me the question 3 times. I responded, but I'm
and every single time you repeat the slur. That is exactly my point. You simply can't say that it's wrong.
This man is not repeating. He's not bringing it up. He's answering the question. He's saying, like, he spent a hot second on it. But hey, it's the issues. Why you keep bringing up a racial slur? Why you keep bringing up the slur? And it's like I would be questioning my sanity at this point. I'm like, am I bugging? Am I bugging? Really? Oh.
George, so then what you're saying, and I want to get off this topic because it's not the only thing that's going on. But George, now you're saying that AP is the one that slurred Kamala Harris, because those are the facts. You can go to the internet and look at the clips, George, if you want to, or we can talk about this now. I prefer to talk about the future of our country, because the American people are struggling. The American people do need serious policy decisions to be made, and they need serious leadership on the world stage. Kamala Harris has not proven that she can do that. Donald J. Trump has proven that he can do that.
AP did not say that Kamala Harris is not black. She is biracial. She is.
That is not true. You can look up that article. If I have enough time, I can put it in the video. You know, I'll put it in. But that's not true. They say that she's the first Indian. Doesn't say biracial. Doesn't say half Jamaican, half Spanish. It says Indian. Indian. And since when did saying Indian became a slur? So you identify somebody's nationality or ethnicity, and that's a slur now? That's a derogatory term. Now, this man is college educated. He knows what a slur is and isn't. But this is the games that these media outlets play now. It's so disingenuous. This is terrible. And like, we as a society should be up in arms about this. I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on. This isn't good. This isn't conducive for anything. We are looking at the destruction of an empire in slow motion.
Indian, she is black. You continue to repeat the fact that you continue to repeat the slur. I don't understand why you and the president do it, but it's clear you're not going to say that it's wrong. And you've now established that for our audience. Trump also said at the convention that he would
George,
pardon
all I'm gonna say
January
is
6
on the internet,
rioters.
everybody look for themselves. Let's move on.
I've already said that. Go
Look on the
ahead.
internet, everybody. Let's move on. There we go.
So, go on and repeat the slurs again. Trump also said at the convention.
Moving on, saying moving on is a slur. Saying moving on is a slur. Moving on is a slur. Wow. 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 I have no words. I have no words for this. This is wow. I've seen it all, man. I've seen it all.
He would pardon January 6 rioters who assaulted police officers.
Yeah, he's shaking his
Do you
head
support
too.
that?
Actually, what he said is that he was going to review every single case. He even repeated that again in Chicago at the NABJ. Listen, what we do understand is that the Department of Justice under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they did massively push up charges on people who protested at the Capitol and some who rioted at the Capitol on January 6th. So what he's talking about is doing a case-by-case review. You can lump it all together all you want, but those are the words of Donald J. Trump. I'm quite sure on the internet people can pull up that clips. They can watch it at their own leisure.
I'll read it to you right now. This was Rachel Scott's question. My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers. Would you pardon those people? Oh, absolutely, I would. That's his words.
Yes, but you did not leave in was the rest of his comments where he said, yeah, I would, but we want to look at everything on a case-by-case basis. That's what will happen, George.
No, that's not what he said. He said if they were innocent, I would pardon them. They've all been convicted. He said he would pardon those who assaulted police officers. Do you support that or not?
George, you just changed the soundbite. You just changed it. Now you added, if they're innocent, then I will pardon them. Let's go back to the record of January 6th. Again, not something that
I
matters.
didn't change the soundbite. That's exactly what he said. They've been convicted.
George, the first thing you said was, yes, I'll pardon them. Then you expanded.
And he said that.
To say, if they are innocent, then yes, I will. That's what you said, George. Now I'm responding. Okay. So what he's saying is that, yeah, I will go and look at these cases. If they're innocent, yes, I will. Of course, if somebody was beating up a police officer at January 6th, he's not going to do that. But if you had people who were just walking through the Capitol, which did occur on January 6th, because the security protocols had changed because of that riot at the Capitol, then what he would do is not allow them to be held in jail with these massively increased charges by the current U.S. attorney in D.C. under the Biden-Harris administration. Compare that to the fact that at the rally that the riots that just occurred at Union Station when Bibi Netanyahu was speaking to Congress, you had the same U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia who decided to just let people go and not file any charges, even though they were defacing monuments at Union Square. So we want to be fair with the justice system. We don't want to be political with the justice system.
My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers. Would you pardon those people? Donald Trump. Oh, absolutely, I would. You wouldn't pardon those? If they were innocent, I would pardon them. That is the entire quote. They are not innocent. They are convicted. He said he would pardon them.
And George, what I'm telling you is he's going to go back and look at these cases because it is without a doubt. And look, January 6th is a very painful memory in our country, but it is without a doubt that the U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia was supercharging these people because of political viewpoints, because you had other.
This is my prediction. People are really, really getting tired of these politicians. People are starting to become fed up and desperate. And when we've seen it throughout history, when you keep pushing the little guy, you think you can't be touched. These rich oligarchs that, control things from the shadows and stuff, you think you can't be touched. There's balance in the universe. Somehow, some way, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, there will be a reckoning. There always is. there's always a reckoning. There can't be right without wrong. There can't be wrong without right. It's the yin and yang. It's the balance of the universe. And the scales have been tipped in their favor in a very, very, very long time. And January 6th is probably that one moment, F around and find out. I don't agree with it, support it. You know, I thought the reasoning behind it was a little stupid, but it goes to show you that like people aren't going to take much, and it's only going to take but so much to like push people over the edge. And maybe that's what, you know, I don't know, you know, like the government or whoever wants it to happen. You know, because it's just we achieve so much when we work together. So much can be achieved. New technology, new ways of doing things. So much can be gathered if we work together. And there's some people that just they don't want that to happen. It's the whole Tower of Babel effect. If you guys are familiar with that story, you know, everybody worked together to build this tower to the heavens. And then, you know, God came in, didn't like that, scattered everybody to the four winds and changed languages so nobody can communicate and collaborate anymore. And we're still living like that. Shouldn't be like that. We should strive to like ignore the nonsense. Ignore the nonsense and just realize that like it's all a game at the end of the day. It's a game. And the regular folk are the pawns. We're the expendables in this massive game. So, you know.
Riots that have occurred in Washington, D.C., where the charges were minimized or dismissed altogether. That is not an even-handed system of justice. That is a politically motivated system of justice. And you don't have to look any further than the difference between how the Department of Justice has treated Donald Trump versus how the Department of Justice has treated Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton. What he is talking about is equal enforcement of the law, not picking and choosing because of your politics.
I would remind you that this Department of Justice actually indicted Hunter Biden, the president's son. And of course, we were talking about assaults on police officers, people who were convicted for assaults on police officers, which the president has said he would pardon them. Thank you very much for your time.
What a joke. 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 That's journalism in 2024 on ABC. Man. I don't have any words for that. That was a travesty. Wasn't anything productive that came out of that. That was gaslighting in real time, lying in real time. And they're hoping, they're betting on it. They're pretty much damn sure that a lot of you are going to buy that. That man was sitting up there, Byron Donalds was sitting up there, calling this woman all kinds of names. And that did not happen. Not one derogatory, negative, harmful thing was said. Nothing misogynist. Nothing sexist. nothing racist. And the fact that, see, that's how stupid George Stephanopulos is. Because you're gonna say that to a black man? What slur did he use? What slur did he use? If anybody can identify the slurs that were used in that interview, please send it to me. Please, because I'm still looking. I'm doing my secret squirrel thing. I haven't found it yet. But listen, y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. As always, stay salty. Peace.
Honestly, I think we're led by stupid people. Go to school and get a good education. Stop all that gang, man. You're not from the hood.